Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, we'll chat with Indigenous musician, author, and community organizer, Dr. Lyla June Johnston, also known as Lyla June. But right now, Susan Levy talks with Talia White, Student Services Specialist at the American Indian Institute at Mesa Community College.
I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio today with us is Talia White, and she's the Student Services Specialist at the American Indian Institute at Mesa Community College. Hello, Talia. It's an honor to have you here today.
Hi, Susan. It's so great to be here. Thank you.
I'm so glad you drove down and have time to chat with us. We can learn more about the great programs at Mesa Community College. Before we get started, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Talia. I work at the American Indian Institute. I've been there for quite some time, since about 2013. I left for a little while to work in Santa Fe, and that was really awesome and beautiful. And then I came back in 2020, and MCC has always been very special to me. And I've worked in higher education in different places, representing like major universities and representing tribal universities, and then also, the community college sector. And I don't know, something about MCC and the students and the opportunities there, like it really just feels like home to me there. So I just love working there. And I am Dene. I'm Navajo, originally from Fort Defiance area. And I, am just here, doing the work, trying to help our students, help our communities. And, that's really primarily what I'm passionate about.
I know you make a huge difference. I've known you a long time. I know you said you've been there 10 years. And... right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You said 10, 13?
Yeah.
10, 23, that's 10 years.
When you said 20, 10 years.
10
that's
years.
So crazy.
So I know I've worked with you for a long time. And, the thing I always hear about you is that you're so passionate and students love you and you're kind and empathetic and nurturing, and you've made such a difference for so many students. And I hear that a lot.
Oh.
I mean, that you really do such a tremendous job and have made sure that their educational experience is what they hoped it would be. So hats off to you for making a difference.
Oh, that makes my heart smile. Thank you.
You do a tremendous job. So for people that don't know anything about the American Indian Institute at Mesa Community College, what is it?
So we are basically like the central hub for students to come to ask questions, if they have any concerns, or just kind of help in connecting to our community and getting in touch with other students, staff, faculty. So we're kind of like that bridge for students in a lot of ways. They can come to us if they have questions about, what kind of courses do they take, where do they transfer, how many credits do they have. Things like leadership opportunities, scholarship opportunities. Maybe they come to us and they say, we need assistance with FAFSA and filling that out. We have all of those conversations with them. And then also, just making a connection with students and making sure, aside from their academics, that, they're thriving in their personal lives and they're, doing well in all aspects with their family and, with even their mental health, their well-being. Those things are also important to us at the American Indian Institute too.
So how many students do you have?
For this spring, we have a little bit over 900 students. And so that's really awesome. We average about 1,000 students every semester. Because of the pandemic and all of that, of course, our enrollment was down, but we're happy to see that is beginning to increase and students are starting to, come back to campus and take classes in person. And it's just really a great feeling to see people face to face and interact with them and laugh with them. These guys the other day, my students, they helped me clean my office. that I like didn't clean since 2020. And so that was really cool. Like, and they made me a collage, and like they put up curtains. So I was really excited about that. So just even small interactions like that, that was awesome.
I told you make a difference. So do you know how many tribes are represented with those 900 students?
So, yeah, at MCC, we do have tribal representation of all 22 tribes of Arizona. So, of course, like some of our top tribes are like Navajo, Gila River, Salt River, Hopi, White Mountain Apache, San Carlos Apache, Fort McDowell, just to name a few. So we have a lot of students that are from those tribal communities, and then, of course, other tribal communities across the state, too.
So at what point should somebody be reaching out to you? So if you've got somebody in high school, is that too soon, too late?
No, definitely not. The earlier, the better, I always say, you know.
8th grade?
Eighth grade, yeah. We have students, you know, that they already know what they want to do. They have an idea that, you know, I want to be a lawyer, or I want to work in healthcare. And so just kind of mapping out those possibilities for them is great for them to get a head start. And then also just even students that might not even have those kind of like options decided for themselves already, just having those conversations with them too, and kind of getting them on track of like things that they should be aware of and things that they should be doing. So the earlier the better, you know, to start those conversations. And then also working with parents and families and communities and departments and resources across the state is also an opportunity that we extend out to.
And I think you also work with like Mesa Public Schools, right?
Yeah.
And some of the area school districts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Mesa Public Schools is our top feeder school. And so we work a lot with them, and, you know, we have a lot of students coming in from like Westwood and Dobson and Mesa, and we really, really enjoy having that partnership with Mesa Public Schools because they have the largest native population.
Yes, in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then MCC has the largest native student population for Maricopa Community Colleges. So, you know, it just works together.
So I've got a question. For people that aren't familiar, is Hoop of Learning program, some of the bridge programs. What is Hoop of Learning? Does MCC offer that, or is that specific Maricopa Community College schools? And anything else on programs like that you have?
Yeah. Well, the Hoop of Learning program is a great program for high school students, grades 9 through 12. And so every Maricopa Community College has a program dedicated to Hoop of Learning, or has a Hoop of Learning program, excuse me. And so MCC does have a Hoop of Learning program, and it's coordinated through our early college program. And so students can start enrolling into that program and earn college credits as early as their second semester in 9th grade. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's dual enrollment.
Mm-hmm. It's dual enrollment, and so every program is run differently. I believe for our program, like students attend classes on Saturdays.
So what kind of classes? Like English and math, or
it could be it could be like English, math. It could be Navajo language, Navajo government. It just really depends on, I guess, what's available for that particular semester. And they have their own coordinators for early college, and they can probably give you a little bit more detail about that. But I love the Hoop of Learning program. Like, that's how I started out at MCC. Was I started off with like an incredible cohort of 35 students, and so just kind of seeing the progress from the time that I started and meeting these students when they were 14, 15 years old, and seeing them take the classes and do the workshops, and then graduating from high school. And some of them have even graduated from college. Some of them have children and families, and they're married. And It's just so cool to see all of them just grow up right before your eyes. And some of them still come into the office and they're just like, we just wanted to come say hi and see ya.
That's a testament to everything that you've done. Okay, so what's your very favorite success story, if you can think of one? Which I know you have probably tons.
It's hard to choose. Like, I don't know.
Or a couple?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like, starting off working with students from Hope of Learning, I think that was my first introductory to, I guess, like, the impact that, people that work within education can make, And so it was really amazing to see, our young people thrive and be excited about education and how that can be, I guess, implemented in an Indigenous way for them. And so I think that has been really, really impactful. And so some of our students, they come in and they have talked about, like, okay, well, I see these things happening in tribal communities and I want to make a difference in this. One student I can actually, like, think about right now is, like, our student club president. She came in a couple of years ago and she moved down from South Dakota. And so she enrolled into the college and she kind of, like, came into my office and we did the whole, like, classes and enrollment and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, well, did you know you could do this? And then there's these clubs and there's this. And, by the end of the semester, she was like, I think I want to try to be the president. And I was like, you should. And so she ran for our president for the club. And now she's, like, the club president. And she's been doing a really good job in, like, leading all of the students and promoting all of these events. And she's getting ready to graduate. And she'll be heading to ASU to study social work. And so just kind of seeing her from the time she walked through, like, my doors in my office to, hopefully seeing her walk across stage, like, that's going to be really incredible. And those are kind of like the moments that I really enjoy working with students.
And she's blossomed and she's off to a great future.
Yeah.
Thanks to your nurturing.
Oh. And everybody's nurturing.
And everybody's, but you're a huge part of it. And I know Sam at the American, so Sam Stevens, give a shout out to him as well.
Yeah.
And I know Winona, American Indian Outreach as well. So I had heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true, that Maricopa Community Colleges is going to be offering bachelor's degrees.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is true. So throughout the Maricopa Community Colleges, there will be bachelor's degrees offered. Specifically at MCC, we're going to be offering a bachelor's degree in data analytics. And so our bachelor's degrees will be offered beginning in fall 2023.
So that's, like, right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Is it time already to enroll for fall 2023, or is it too early or too late?
No, it's right on time. So students can come in, they can ask for, we can help them fill out the admissions information. We can have advisement with them, talk to them about their interests and their classes, pull up the programs that they are looking into and kind of just, like, get them prepared. But yeah, they can start enrolling for summer classes even, and then fall.
And then a bachelor's degree.
And then bachelor's degree.
Okay, that's awesome. I know we're not allowed to talk prices, so I won't even ask you how much it's going to cost, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's affordable.
So when you're working with all the students, do you have lots of different events and things to engage students?
So we try to do all kinds of different events on our campus. And so in the beginning of the year, we kind of kicked that off with our Native Welcome. Our Native Welcome has performances, it has resources, community resources, campus resources. So students can come in and kind of get acquainted with those individuals who might be able to assist them throughout their college career. And then we have, like, performances and raffles and food. And so it's kind of like our welcoming celebration. From there, we have other events that we coordinate. Indigenous Nations Month is really a busy time for us. This past November, we had an array of different performances and appearances from people like poetry. We had Tate Walker. She was really powerful and impactful to our students. We had White Mountain Apache crown dancers come through. We also had our elders luncheon that our ISO students had organized. And so we had elders that were from Hopi, as well as, Comanche Nation and Navajo Nation. So that was really cool. And so a lot of our students, really the events that we have, we kind of like gauge it off of like what the students want to do or what they want to see from their campus. And then from there, we just kind of like bring their ideas to life.
I know the students did such a great job. I always watch all of your stuff on social media, and we try to post everything that you all are doing. And I remember like the elders breakfast, and you've done such a tremendous job over there. Super impressive. I think MCC just like blows it out of the water with everything that you all do.
Yeah.
So great job.
We try. And
you do a great job.
Thank you very much.
So I know we're almost out of time. How can listeners learn more about the American Indian Institute at Mesa Community College, and how can they contact you?
So they can contact us directly by calling 480-461-7931, or they can email us at aii@mesacc.edu, and either myself or Sam or Leora, who is our other advisor, will be willing to assist you in whatever questions you may have.
Okay, since I'm out of time, my very last question is, how early is too early to contact you about MCC, American Indian Institute programs? 8th grade is okay?
8th grade's good, yeah. And we do presentations too. So if you have a classroom or a group or an event that you want us to attend and do presentations to, like we do lectures and all that kind of good stuff, so we're happy to go out and talk to people too.
All right, Talia, thank you so much for driving all the way down here from Mesa and coming into the studio. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up, Susan Levy chats with Lyla June. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk returns after this song. You are listening to North Star by Lyla June, featuring Quincy Davis.
Oh, my creator, helper of my soul, walk with me on this road, 'cause I can't do it on my own. No, I can't do this alone. These days I walk with an aching in my soul. With you all I know is, all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. Yeah, all I have to do is ask, and you'll show me the path. When I don't got no strength, you lift me up, yeah. And when I can't find my way, you are my North Star, yeah. You the one who rushes in when I cry out to the sky. Step into the field, I can feel the wind. Help me see me through your eyes, so my broken wings can fly. Help me see me through your eyes, so my wings can fly. Let me fly, ride in the wind I'm on, facing the storm. I know I'ma make it home. You help me follow the path, remember for the truth, calling us back. All I've been through to be ready for that. All I've been through to be right where I'm at. Living the proof, pick up these pieces, I'm broken and bruised. With infinite reasons, I'm grateful for you. Giving this life in each breath is a new.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Dr. Lyla June Johnston, also known as Lyla June. She's an Indigenous musician, author, and community organizer. Her multi-genre presentation style has engaged audiences across the globe towards personal, collective, and ecological healing. Hello, Dr. Johnston. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
So I'm super excited to get to know more about you and all the great things that you're doing. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and how you got interested in arts and activism.
Well, it's kind of like Winona LaDuke says, is like, why does it make me an activist? Because I just want clean water, you know? I consider myself more of a normal person, not so much an activist, but just someone who wants people to be safe, you know, and food to be healthy and water to be clean. And for some reason that makes me an activist, but I consider myself just a normal person with normal concerns. But before I go further, I should probably introduce my clans to honor our communities and honor my ancestors. Greetings, my relatives and my people. I'm from the Nanisht clan of the Diné Nation. We are also commonly and incorrectly known as Navajo. Otto, my father's people, is Southern Cheyenne and Scottish, and my mother's people is Diné, Nanisht and then her father's clan is the Ashihan, Salt clan. So in that manner, I present myself as a Diné woman because we are matrilineal. I inherit my mother's world and my mother's clan and things like that. So I'm just so happy to be here. And I'd say for my journey has been one that's been very challenging. I started doing drugs and alcohol when I was 11 years old, which is common for a lot of people, actually. And I unfortunately got into college as an alcoholic and an addict. And I somehow got into Stanford University, you know, because sometimes you have these double lives where on one hand you have this addiction, but on the other hand you're trying to be very functional and, you know, face the world very professionally and things. But the addiction ultimately got the best of me, and I hit rock bottom, and I had to pray for help. So as Diné people, prayer is very important. And I asked the Diné and the Creator and the ancestors for help, and then I got sober. With that help, you know, a lot of magical things started coming into my life, people, ideas, messages, understandings that helped me to get sober. So at that point, I became sober, and I've been drug and alcohol free now for 10 years straight. But I'm now 33, so it took from about age 11 to age 23 of drugging and drinking before I finally put it all down, which I guess is about 12 years of my lifetime. So my journey is really about breaking free from addiction, and I always want to encourage others to say, you know, you don't need that stuff to live a happy life. You can live a beautiful life free of those things, and if you need help doing it, you know, just put out your prayer, and by some miracle, by some way, you can become sober. From there, I went on to get my master's degree in education for Native people. My bachelor's was at Stanford was in anthropology with honors. And then my PhD that I just finished is looking at Native food systems, Native land management. And I just completed that from University of Alaska Fairbanks, their Indigenous Studies PhD program. And one of the women who lives in Phoenix, Melissa Nelson, who runs the ASU Indigenous Sustainability Program, she was one of my mentors for getting my PhD. So I have a lot of connection to her and to what's going on at ASU is pretty cool. So anyways, that's my journey, and now I just live to serve Creator, to serve the people, to be a warrior for Mother Earth, to be a warrior for those who are suffering, for the elders, for the veterans, for the women who are having a hard time, and to for the children not yet born. So it's really been a journey of trying to be a better warrior, and not doing such a good job at the beginning, but getting better and better each year.
It sounds like you've done a lot in your short 33 years. I know that you're also a musician. What kind of singing do you do, songwriting, and how does kind of your journey mesh with your songwriting and your singing? Or is that your primary method, that you want to get the word out and communicate and your message, or is there something else that you're doing?
Yeah, so I started writing poetry when I was 14, and that's kind of turned into music over time. That's actually how I got into Stanford, was kind of my poetry stuff, and the slam poetry. And that kind of naturally turns into hip-hop and singing, songwriting. And I find music to be an incredibly effective way to transmit certain ideas and values. So I have a couple like one-hit wonders, and the rest of my music is largely not very well known. But I really have been surprised at how some of my songs really go far. And these songs are always meant to instill within not just Native people, but all people, a sense of being a peaceful warrior, of being a kind person, a gentle person, a compassionate person, and to serve those who are less fortunate and serve those who are suffering, and to be a protector of life. So I do think that it's an incredible medium for conveying this message, and it's been extremely successful for me to get this message out there. I also do, I write essays sometimes that accidentally go viral too, things like that. But really all I'm trying to say is let's take care of each other. And it's, for some reason, it goes viral because I think we don't hear that enough, and people just want to hear something positive. They want to hear something that brings us all together instead of splits us all apart. And so I think love is the central message, whether it's writing music or writing a song or writing a dissertation or making films. I'm just trying to be one more voice out of many voices out there in the world that are advocating for love and compassion and kindness, and putting out our best foot forward when we interact with each other and with the earth.
I think I agree with what you said. I think the positive message, I don't think there's enough of that. And I think that your music and your message is really important that everybody hears. So let's go back a second and let's talk about, what role did music play in your childhood, and how did you get interested in music?
Yeah, my father was always spinning vinyl records. He always spun the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all this classic rock music. And it was always playing in the house, and he had a huge stack of vinyl. And so actually one of my first loves was the Beatles. They really, really influenced me a lot. Partly because they were so skilled and so good at what they did, but also because they ultimately landed on a message of compassion and bringing people together. And I think from there, I started to listen to really anything that wasn't talking about nothing. It didn't matter to me what the beat sounded like, what kind of music it was, as long as they were saying something that was meaningful and useful for me in my life, I was about it. For instance, I listened to System of a Down, which is a pretty hard rock band. I listened to Lauryn Hill, which is underground hip hop. I listened to Black Alicious, which is also underground hip hop. I listened to even music that's from different religions, different Jewish musicians, different Hindu musicians, even Christian musicians, a lot of Native musicians using traditional instruments and traditional messages. I kind of really didn't really care what religion they were or what genre they were, as long as they were saying something that meant something. Whereas I think most times people, like, they don't really care what people are saying as long as it sounds good. Like, they could literally be degrading themselves by listening to this song, but they don't care because the beat is catchy, and that's cool. I like to dance too, don't get me wrong. I like to, like, not think sometimes too, but I think what we say matters, and the lyrics of the songs are really important, and they're powerful, like our words, even the word spelling, when you spell words, it has that word spell in it because we're casting spells, so to speak, with our words. And do you want to cast a negative spell or a positive spell? Do you want to put that positive ripple out into the world, or something that's degrading women, or advocating for alcoholism, or advocating for materialism? Everything you say, it creates a ripple. And so I think it's really important that we're more intentional and mindful about what we're saying in our songs.
So when you were listening to music growing up, how did you decide, or how did you come across being a songwriter? Did you just start dabbling, like I don't know much about songwriting. So is it something like you start writing poetry and then figure you can put it into music? Is that how it works?
Right. I think, well, for one thing, I got a guitar when I was like 10. My dad brought me into a pawn shop and got me this like really this really used guitar, and I would play it every now and then. And then one time I saw my friend playing guitar when I was just a freshman in high school, and he was really, really good at it. And I was like, okay, yes, I must. I cannot live without knowing how to do this. So I started learning tablature and chords off the internet, and I'm all self-taught, which is why when I get in a room full of classically trained musicians, I usually don't know what they're talking about. But, just anything that sounds good, and I think each of us have a gift. Each of us have something that naturally comes to us easily. And for me, that's music. At least I hope it is. I hope it's good. And others, they might have other gifts. They might be really good at carpentry, or they might be really good at caring for elders, or they might be really good at, art, visual arts and stuff, or they might be really good at mathematics or what have you. We all have a gift, and I think it's really important for each of us to find that gift and to give it to a world in need that needs us to give our tools and our skills to the service of what's broken in society, to the service of what is hurting in the world. And as we all know, the world is really suffering right now. So using that gift to help others. So for me, it was just kind of natural when I started playing guitar. I don't know the names of the chords half the time. I don't know which note I'm playing, but I just know that it sounds good. And I know how to make a melody, and I know how to write a song. And I know how to make a beat, so I love to work with electronic music. I used to be like a big like raver girl back in the day, so back in my crazy days. So I love to, bring out electronic music and Indigenous messages through the medium of electronic music. But yeah, I would just say I naturally gravitated to it. It was always something that was just in me. I'm always writing a new song in my head. It's always, I have like 1,000 half-written songs that never got out there because I'm just, they come so fast. It's faster than I can put them out. So I think that's just kind of how it went, was poetry and guitar, putting those together, then looking at hip hop. I love hip hop, writing rhymes and verses, writing bars, and then also the EDM stuff, and then also our traditional music, just anything, anything that makes a sound can make music. So I work in a lot of different genres, and just, I honestly can't explain why. It's just what was there at the time and what I was picking up at the time, and you reach different audiences by dabbling in different genres.
So I want to go back to a second. I really liked what you said, that everyone has a gift, a story, and a message, and a place for everything. And I think that's a really important message that you're saying or sending. But I do want to know, so how did you come up? I know you have some new music, North Star and Water is Life. Can you tell us a little bit more about the songs or how you came up with that, what they mean, and just kind of expand on that?
Yeah, and like you said, each of us has a gift, and I think you're really good at interviewing people. You're really good at being a host, and so that's your gift, and I appreciate you giving it to the world right now. But yeah, so Water is Life was actually commissioned by the American Architectural League. They were commissioning another sister to write a report on the Rio Grande River system and traditional indigenous ways of seeing water systems. And so I said, well, that's not really my homeland. That actually is closer to like the lower Rio Grande Valley, is more like closer to Mescalero, lands. And so I reached out to a Mescalero elder and I interviewed him about water, just tell me about water. Like, what do we do? How do we do it? And so like 90% of the lyrics in that song are actually his words. His name is Oliver Njadi, and he's also he's a Mescalero Apache, Inde elder from Mescalero, New Mexico. And he is a poet as well as a visual artist, as well as a community organizer. He's extraordinary. You should interview him. But he wrote all these. He told me all these things, and then I put them into song.
He said it's not a song, it's a way of life. It's a forever thing, it's a message. He said you can say that water is life. You can sing it again and again, but will they listen? Are we gonna stand by these words? Are we gonna find a way to change the way we're living Mother Earth? She feels everything and it hurts. Like the moon, like the body of a woman, she is changing. Can we return to the times when water was alive? When we prayed at her edge and gave thanks for this life? When the water fell from the sky and we drank from her bosom? When the water fell from our eyes and the water fell from our womb? When it rose up to the surface and we knew every spring? No fear or competition, just a relative to a face. We are people of the sun, we are people of the water. We will celebrate our sons, we will celebrate our daughters. Give them ceremony so when the drought comes they'll be ready. Will the next war be for water? All our solutions are part of the problem, can't win war with war. There is more than one creation story. Worlds have died and worlds have been reborn before. When you touch the water, you touch the world. From Taos Peaks to Gulf Streams, the memories they hold. We sell her by the acre foot and treat her as our captive. The rivers are undrinkable while the aquifer's extracted. Our food will need water to grow, but do you have to take it all? We try to hold her and control her as we watch our empire fall. He said it's not a song, it's a way of life. It's a forever thing, it's a message. He said you can say that water is life. You can sing it again and again, but can you live it?
watching, hoping, praying that this time it becomes pollen, as done by their grandmothers, grandfathers, long ago, when they spoke with animals, their smoke still floating, touching the morning prayers. Grandfathers, grandmothers, sons and daughters, me, us, the mountains and animals, covered with the morning pollen.
And so the song is just about like how do we view water from a traditional lens? You know, he's very traditional. How do we take care of water? What do we look out for? How does ceremony relate to water? And how are we going to actually put this into practice? So I don't know if it helped, you know, it's just a song, but I hope it gave people a little bit of perception into how Native elders will see water. The second song, North Star, was written in a very dark time of my life, but the only thing I know is that Creator will show me the way, and that Creator is our North Star when we are our most lost and our most broken down and our most scared, you know, to just continue to pray. And if you pray, then you know the Creator will bring you home to peace, to self-love, to a happy place. And that's exactly what happened. Just a lot of prayer, and I'm back on my feet a few years later, and you know, I'm feeling good, and I know my story now. But that took a lot of prayer, and it took a lot of faith, knowing that something was going to help me out of that. So that North Star is just encouraging people to always pray, especially when you're at your lowest point, you know, to ask Creator for help.
And I think both of those songs are so important. I think The Water is Life that you talked about, the message, and it's so timely now with all the droughts and global warming and everything else that's happening environmentally. And then also North Star, as you said, had kind of come through it. I think those are really important. So you had before mentioned that you had some one-hit wonders, which is it's probably like asking a favorite child. Do you have a favorite song or a favorite part of any of your music that you've done or anything that you're planning?
Yeah, I have a 4-song EP coming out. It's all acoustic songs. And it has a song about boarding schools. It has a song about, you know, being single and having a hard time finding a man who can like really commit to you and start a family with you. Which I think my generation has a hard time finding, maybe. Maybe not, maybe it's just me. It also has a song about Alabama, which is, you know, traditional Muskogee lands and honoring the beauty of that place. And it has a Muskogee language speaker speaking in the background about, you know, all of in the traditional language, you know, about the history of colonization in Alabama and the Trail of Tears and what have you, and how they're returning home now to reclaim their lands. It also has Water is Life on there, and it will have a poem on there. So that's coming out. I'm really excited about it. It's taken like 2 years to make because I was also doing my PhD, but it's almost ready. Other than that, you know, I guess my favorite song is probably 1,000 Ancestors, because it has my elder Mitzi Begay at the end. She's speaking our language, and I just like the message of it. I don't know, it's just kind of catchy. It's like the first, you know, beat that I really produced 100% by myself and released. And I don't know, I just love the energy of it and the joy of it, and I love how Mitzi, you know, ends the song with her voice as one of our elders.
So when's the 4-song EP coming out? Is that soon, or any plans for that this year?
It'll come out in the fall of 2023.
Okay, so coming up. And then if somebody wants to listen to the 1,000 Ancestors, where is that?
It's on Spotify under Lyla June. It's also on YouTube. There's a music video under Lyla June, and it's spelled the number 1000 and then ancestors, not like the word 1000.
Okay. I've got to listen to that one. I listened to your other ones, and I got to say, I thought they were phenomenal. I listened and listened and listened and really, really liked it. And I liked the message, the music, the whole thing I really liked it. So what do you have planned for the future? You're doing so many things. You've got your music, your EP coming out, your poetry. You just got your PhD. What have you got coming up?
Well, looking forward, I would love to invest my time in starting a family and raising healthy Indigenous babies who have healthy mother and father. And I'm sure I won't be perfect, but that's my main goal, is just to hopefully give birth to human beings and take care of them with a sober home and a home that is loving and caring, and to help nourish their gifts and help them grow up to be, good people, the best that I can. And so that's really my number one dream and hope. And of course, I have to find a mate to do that. So that's also part of my my hopes and dreams. But also, taking care of some sheep. I started taking care of our endangered sheep. As Diné people, we have an endangered sheep species called the churro, and they have 4 horns, and they're very important to our people. And so I'm just raising as many of those as I can. I only have 15 right now, but I'm hoping to have many, many more. And take care of the land here in Diné Bakea, the people's land, Dinetra, our homeland, and just be more of service to Diné people. That's really my goals right now, and I think just that's enough for me to chew off right now. And of course, a lot of speeches and presentations and performances dappled throughout the calendar all the time. But mainly just trying to put down some roots, take care of the land, take care of the sheep, and start a family.
Those sound like good goals, and a lot of goals. It's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Finally, how can listeners hear your music, find more information about Lyla June and what you're doing, and reach out and contact you?
Yeah, lylajune.com, LYLAJUNE.com. And also, I would highly recommend, looking into one of my partners, which is the Caris Children's Learning Center, KCLC Montessori.org. They are single-handedly protecting the Caris language from extinction here in New Mexico. So that's people I work with, and if you get to know them, you get to know me, because I just support them all the way. And also, obviously, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I do have a TikTok, but I'm too old for it. I can't figure it out. I think I have like 2,000 followers or something. But it's Lyla June Talk. So yeah, I'm just on all the things. And yeah, that's how you can find more. Probably YouTube's the best way, because there's a lot of music videos and speeches that kind of share quite a bit more visually and more immersively.
What's your social media handles?
Just Lyla June.
Okay.
Yeah, for all of them except for TikTok's Lyla June Talk.
Okay, cool. I know a lot of people are going to want to check you out and listen to everything and everything that you're on. So incredibly interesting, enlightening, and you've got so many great plans, and I love your music. So I really appreciate the time that you've given us today. I know you're really busy, and just wanted to say thank you. I know the listeners are going to love hearing your music and learning more about you.
Yes, and the last thing I just want to say is really think about the Creator, because Creator's the one who gave me a second chance at life, and really anything good that I do, I feel like really was made possible by Creator's love and protection and intervention in my life. So whatever good you see here, remember that it mostly comes from Creator. So thank you for your time, and may we continue to serve our people.
Thank you, Lyla June.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy, sound engineer is Javier Quiroga, and our host is Lanasha Puadi. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.